Hi and welcome to my channel. I'm Emilia and I'm so happy that you are here. Today I'm going to react to a Nightwish song called Lappi, meaning Lapland. It's been on my to-do list since the beginning of these reactions, but somehow always something else has come up and it just have been waiting on the shadows. And now I've noticed that one of you wonderful Nightwish friends had asked me to do a reaction to it, so I thought that of course I will. It's a lovely thing to know that someone is really actually interested in what I am saying. So if you have any Nightwish songs that you would love me to react to, just please leave me a comment and tell me which song I would love to. It's sometimes really hard to find a song. Oh no, not find, but choose a song. There is so many to choose from, but I'm not sure if I have picked a right video for this, because I didn't find any music video official one or lyric video official one or a live official video. This is something that I think isn't official, but it had on the title something about the translation or lyrics, so I thought I would pick that one. It also has a clue in it that there might be some Finnish in there, and I think I saw the Nightwish's album version having the cover of their first album in there, so is it from their first album? Because if it's really interesting to hear early Nightwish. They must have been so young. So let's travel to Lapland. Sorry, I have to go back because I got distracted by the translation, which at the first sight, and it goes so fast, but sorry, but there were some mistakes in there, or interpretation. mistakes or something. I will talk about them later because I want to concentrate on the music now. But if this is early Nightwish, I think there was only Empu playing the guitar there. Was it? It's beautiful. It was so beautiful. So simple and so beautiful. It you know, it sounded to me. It sounded exactly like Lapland. I mean, like how it feels to sit there somewhere, and feel the wind on your face and listen how the vast nothingness breathes, if that makes sense. And in all its simplicity, it's there's a whole universe being created there. And I want to go back and try just to concentrate on the music, and I'm not looking at the lyrics because it's not helping me at all. I can understand what Tarja is singing, but I can't understand the translation. So let's go back. Sorry, I for the advertisement pause there. But here, first, there was this house completely covered in snow, and it reminded me of some Finnish movie. What was it? I haven't seen that many Finnish movies. It has to do with your something. It has to be something to do with Joulupukki movie, the Santa Claus movie, maybe. It reminded me of that. Beautiful. And also, I just wanted to pause and mention that I really love these drums. I really love these drums. They are so deep and slow and fundamental, if that makes sense. And the funny thing is, the rhythm in there, the drum rhythm is the same I do when I play my Sami drums. So it just feels right, and clearly someone else thinks that way too. And then there were those, wooden bell sounds in there that first went up and then they came down, like tunturi. Oh, what's tunturi in English? I don't actually think there's a name for tunturi. I remember checking them so many times when I have been writing letters to my foreign pen pals from Lapland, and trying to explain what tunturi is. But fjäll in Swedish, those ancient fountains that Ice Age has smoothed into gentle, not hills, mountains, but gentle ones. Well, anyway, that bell sound, it sounded like, the waves of the earth. And it was really beautiful. But now, let's continue. I apologize beforehand in case that the video is slow. There seems to be a bit of a problem with the connection at the moment. It's been a problem for a while, and I don't know why, but let's hope it's not interrupting our experience. there was another advertisement pause there, but etiäinen. First, I love the slow, steady heartbeat in this song. It's such a... And the... Not sadness, melancholy was a word mentioned there, but I love the emotion of this. But etiäinen, like it said in here, I wonder if there's mistake in there, because there was with drums, one of the part names. Etiäinen means distant, and it could work totally. It could work, at least from my perspective. It's 1,000 kilometers up, but I wonder if it could be etiäinen. I mean, etiäinen, not etäinen, but etiäinen. Because the more you spend time in Lapland, the more you feel the connection with everything, and etiäinen is usually translated as premonition, but it's so much more. In Finnish mythology, everything had a haltija, a guardian spirit. Trees and valleys and lakes and stones, everything had a haltija. Every house, every sauna, everything had this guardian spirit, haltija. And every person had one too, and that was called etiäinen. Etiäinen went before, it means not distant, but but there is this extra vocal in there. Etiäinen went before a person, ahead of a person, and it did the same things the person would then later do, and also sometimes they could warn if there's danger ahead. And when you are as close to the nature as you are in Lapland, you start to understand the language of the nature when you allow yourself and be still and listen. I think there is etiäinen there too beside you there, so I need to check that, but it's just something that a silly tiny little detail in there, but the first part had a name Erämaajärvi, I think, which is a singular form. It was translated as the lakes of wilderness, but it's one of them. And I read that the person who had made this translation isn't maybe Finnish. It isn't her native language, so I really respect this translation. There is just tiny little details in there that doesn't match for native language mind, and this is one of them that kind of doesn't make sense, etäinen and distant. So I try to imagine it would be etiäinen. It fits into the context. But let's continue. Sorry, it was a long ramble about about this. that made me want to so badly to go to Lapland again, even though I think some of the images weren't actually from Finland, but also from Sweden and Norway maybe, but it doesn't matter, it's Lapland anyway. And we hadn't usually at the summertime we go to Lapland for a couple of weeks, but this year we didn't have a chance, mostly because of my health didn't allow it. But when you have been in Lapland once, I think you leave parts, just maybe one part of your soul there. Maybe it's the etiäinen part, the the guardian spirit of you, maybe. But this was really beautiful. And first thing that I just want to talk about is Emppu, if that was Emppu in there, because it was just beautiful. Light and deep at the same time, and well, I loved it. And it sounded to me at times almost like kantele, the Finnish zidra like instrument, the national instrument of Finland, the ancient one. And it was so down to earth, like a golden thread in the midst of winter time. Maybe it was so beautiful, and especially in the last part, Tarja. I loved her voice again, but especially the last part, the etiäinen. I checked, it was etiäinen. Those long notes she held there, it was constant, lulling, like those tunturi, those mountains in their fjälls. And it was so, those notes require some serious iron will to make them so tight. She made them. It was like, my singing teacher always told me that you need to sing like you are stretching a rubber band, and it stretches and stretches and stretches, and you never let your hold on it loose, so that it's you control it, it's not controlling you. And you hold the notes, and you hold them, and you hold them, and make them tight, and make them clear, and make them last. And that's I was so thinking about rubber bands when I listened to those kind of it was almost like ancient traditional songs echoing in the into nature in the wilderness. It was really beautiful, and it was so kind of simple, yet it was mature. I loved it. I really, honestly, I loved it. It was flowing in a way when something is easily coming out of you, like like it's only just beneath the surface, and you just have to dig a tiny little hole in there and it pops out. That's kind of feeling I got in there. And there was this the part, the eternity, this moment, this in eternity, was it? Something like that. The one part that had a name, English name. Well, most of them had, but you know, the part that had moment and eternity in it. It reminded me a bit of William Blake. I know it's a stretch, but it did. I mean, how was... Well, it's one of my favorite lines in there. The one that has always been in my YouTube banner, in my page, you know, the quote of William Blake. To hold a world in a grain of sand and a heaven in a wildflower. That one, something like that. And infinity, infinity in the palm of your hand, and eternity in an hour. Something like that. Sorry if I'm butchering William Blake single-handedly there. But the grain of sand, I love it because it's I don't know if you get any Decorator's Zone earth vibes there, holding a, you know, world in a single grain of sand, or seeing. But I know that the poem goes on about not so happy things after that, like death and suffering and hell, and I don't know, I don't remember the name. It had something to do with omens and innocence and something. But, I mean, eternity in an hour. This moment is eternity. And these lyrics of the song painted majestic picture, and then it was land of beauty, cold and cruel, or something, which kind of, for me, it felt like an early nod to, or not nod, because you know, but early sign of the greatest show on earth, that bit in there. And years later, they kind of expanded a little from Lapland to the all the works of nature which adorn the world. They should do a tiny bit easier titles for someone having a brain injury. Thank you, please. But you know. Oh, but the nature theme has clearly been one they have loved, or Tuomas has loved from really early on. And back to the eternity part, because I really loved that. It's I have never lived in Lapland, but I have spent some, you know, moments during summer, winter, autumn, spring in there, and that is what happens in there. A moment is eternity, and eternity is a moment. Because, you know, the concept of time comes really irrelevant and man-made and forced when you know or think that the tunturi, the fjälls, those Finnish ones have been there billions of years. To give a context, I think I have read that because they do not teach these things at school, which I think is a travesty. But you know, I think most of Swedish and Norwegian mountains, those and just as like the Alps, they are youngsters. You know, 1 billion or more years younger. And these wise old ones in Finland, smoothed by time and some ice age grinding, they have witnessed it all. I mean, that's a real life example of Archean, you know, Archean horizon. Which song is that? Archean horizon. The greatest on earth? Is it? Right? And I just want to show you something. Just a moment. Okay, I had to go out of screen like this. This is just a tiny little piece of stone, but it's my favorite. It's my favorite. It's tuffite in Finnish, which means it could be 2 feet. Something. I'm not a geologist. I'm a theologian. So, but this piece, it's from Lapland, and it has taken hundreds of thousands of years for it to be born. And it's been born, you know, by ancient waves hitting the earth and turning into stone. And I like to think there's an ancient sea inside this, a volcano too, and life. This is our Archean horizon, and it's kind of putting things into perspective. That's why I always want to keep it near. And then the other one I just wanted to show you, because I was again talking about my Sami drum. This is the one I have made myself, and as you can see, it looks just like me. I know it's silly, but this is a handmade. I hope you can see. It's a reindeer skin, and then I have added some swan feathers in there, and on the back side of it there is an eagle, and then some inscriptions in of course in ancient Near Eastern inscriptions. And here's my really official looking, really professional looking you know, stick for this one, but it's really moist in here, so it doesn't sound really good. But I have one, and it's like the heartbeat of Lapland. When I play with it, it feels so wonderful. But there was this list of animals in there. And also there was something about moon. They possesses no key here or something, and which is kind of true if you consider Lapland during the nighttime, winter time, when the sun never rises above the horizon, but also in a way during the summertime too, when it never sets. Because there was this mention of hermit in there, and for me, Lapland is a vast place of a hermit. I mean, you need to face yourself there. You need to pause, and it just makes you acknowledge and be aware of the dark tones inside you, if it makes sense. It probably does not, but there is something, because it's so quiet, so peaceful, so huge. It's and cold. Even if I have been there, in the Lofoten in Norway, when it was 28 degrees, plus 28 degrees of Celsius. It was insane. By the, Arctic Sea. But even still, the coldness comes from the pulsing of the whole earth. The bare bedrock visible everywhere. There is something, and there is something else too. Sorry, it's taken me a while. About trusting the wind and trusting the fires or fire. And that made me thinking, well, you need to trust the wind. You need to trust the wind when you are there, and especially if you are wandering there or traveling by foot in the wilderness, because you need to listen and trust that the wind will tell you where to go. It's like, when I am going or I'm walking in the woods or in the forest, I pay attention to the wind. It tells me what to do, where to go, where not, definitely not to go, and so on. So trusting the wind is essential, and trust the fires. Trust the fire. It could mean so many things. But the list of animals, it included all the animals we have here in western coast of Finland too. I mean, ravens. I loved that it the list started with ravens, because they are where the large predators are. They are always there. When I'm walking in the forest, I pay attention to the ravens, because usually they are kind enough to warn me and tell me if the big buddies are coming, like bears and wolves. Usually they warn me, not always. And eagles, they asks me to, Emilia, go and look. It's there. The eagle the king of the air has come. And those animals are gorgeous, but I actually loved that there were wolverines in there. And that reminded me that I think either I just pronounced it or said it wrong, or then Tarja did. But that reminded me that I have seen and heard people talking about Tarja's pronunciation, and I don't remember if I have been talking about it earlier. But you know, you need to understand that in the 1990s in Finland, there wasn't that many opportunities to speak English. And I am so amazed how Tuomas has written such deep and meaningful texts. But it's easier to write than to speak, because we didn't listen or heard English so much there. At least not where I live. There wasn't that many tourists and foreigners, so you could pick English, and to speak it with someone, it was it was just not possible. So for her to pronounce like she did in the first albums, I think she was really brave. I really do. But the wolverines, I mean, we had one. It's really rare here in the southwestern Finland. It's more common in the north. But we had one in our backyard a couple of weeks ago, and I was not delighted at all. I hate them. I really hate them. I should not talk or say that from an animal, but I do, because they are evil killers, and that kind of made a beautiful contrast in the text or in the lyrics, because it's the contrast and the controversy before the beauty, the land of beauty, cold and cruel, the majestic bears and the admired wolves, and then Wolverine. It's those animals kills just for fun, and they don't even do the job properly. They leave their catch injured, slowly dying, in pain. And I have read that that's a real problem in Lapland, the wolverines, because they kill a lot of reindeers and cause immense damage in there, and so do wolves and bears in summertime, maybe I don't know, and eagles, but at least those kill for food, I think. Not always though, but wolverines are pure evil, and that's like in the Blake poem too, the contrast between the beautiful beauty and the reality, the life. and I have been talking so long at this point, but I just want to try to tackle the Finnish part, the lyrics of the Finnish part. And I need to get, because I don't remember them, I need to print them out. So I'll be back in a minute. Okay, I'm back with the lyrics, and I just want to mention that I am not a translator. I am not a linguist. I'm just a Finn. So this is my translation. It's not official one. It's just how I would do it. And so the first verse was kautta Erämaajärven matkaa kulkuri yksinäinen. And you can go back and see how it was translated in the video, but I'm translating it that kautta Erämaajärven, it's a lake of wilderness that we are talking about, and it's via or by the lake of wilderness. Not through, as you know, through the waters, but you know, it's part of the journey. So how you kautta means that you take a road and choose it and go there. And for example, I go to Helsinki via Tampere, which is the easiest way from here to Helsinki. It's via Tampere, Tampereen kautta, via Tampere. So that's how I would go with it. Via the lake of wilderness. Matkaa kulkuri yksinäinen. It's voyages or travels, but you know, taking a journey, a lonely. It was translated vagabond in there. Kulkuri could be a traveler, it could be a tramp, it could be a vagabond, but I would translate it as a vagrant, maybe. A lonely vagrant. That would make sense. A vagrant. How was it in the Shut Up Before the Beautiful? The vagrant island Earth. Pilgrim. Something. Yeah, but vagrant would be my choice maybe in there. So it's this lone vagrant that's traveling via the wilderness, via the lake of the wilderness maybe. So, näkee lammella joutsenparven vapauttaan itkevän. There's a flock of swans in the pond, not the lake, the pond. So it's a different place than the lake of wilderness, actually in the lyrics. So the vagrant, whoever it is, it could be because it could be a female or a male, but they see flock of swans by the pond or on the pond or whatever, crying, not for their freedom as it was translated there, but because of their freedom maybe, because they are free. What that means, it's up to you. But they are crying because they are free. And kaipuu menneisyyteen, kiirii ilmassa huutoina kotkien. That's kiirii ilmassa, kaipuu menneisyyteen, the longing, the longing for the past. I think it was translated longing of the past, but no. Longing for the past. echoes in the air, or rolls or travels or ripple or spreads, because kiri means originally flying, and the voice, the echoes are or screams or cries are echoing, flying in the air, and what was I saying? Kaipuu menneisyyteen, kiirii ilmassa huutoina kotkien. So the longing for the past is it's in the air, moving through the air as cries of eagles. Not one cry, but multiple cries of multiple eagles. And it's, I think the kiri, the words, rolling, traveling, spreading through the air, it comes from Sami language, which would be really suitable, I think. But then, the last part, I'm sorry, I kind of lost it with there, but Ikijärveltä turvatulta käy matka vuortentaa. There is a kind of a catch in there, because it was translated as a safe wind from the Everlake. And then there is a tiny little mistake and then a huge one, well, not, but it would have to be turva tuulta if it means if it means safe wind. It's turva tuulta, which means it could mean safe fire. But Tarja sings it with, and it's also in the official Nightwish page. It's in the lyrics. It's all in one line, and it says Ikijärveltä turvatulta käy matka vuortentaa, which means that from the ancient secure lake that has been made secure, that is secure, goes the journey beyond the mountains. I mean, turvattu is secure and safe. And from something that is turvattu, that safe place, you say turvatulta. So it has a double meaning. Turva is safe, and tuli, which could turn into tulta. My grammar is at the point lacking the right words for this, but anyway, Ikijärvi is an ancient lake. Järvi is a lake, and Iki is something that is forever there. So it's forever, or I would translate it as an ancient, something that has been there before time was invented. So from the ancient lake that is secure and safe goes the journey beyond the mountains. But it could also be that they receive some kind of safe fires from the ancient lake, and there was this part where it says, let me see, trust the wind, trust the fire. So I leave it to you, but I would go with the safe because that makes sense. The other one does not make any sense in Finnish. But there is the double meaning. There is a word play in there. But because it doesn't, there is no pause in there. It's one whole sentence. I would choose that version, but I would love to know what you think if you happen to be fluent enough in Finnish. But so that was, I think that was quite a long reaction for this. But to summarize, I loved it. It made me want to go to Lapland again. It felt right. It felt older than time, which is rather impressive if they were so young in there when they did that. I loved the guitar. I loved Tarja's voice and the composition and how it evolved and was always waving this story and intertwining the same melodies with the orchestra and the piano and the guitar. It was really beautiful. But the highlight was Emppu for me. Even though the lyrics were beautiful, for this one it was, I think that was Emppu's song for me. But thank you so much for watching all the way through, and I hope to see you soon again. Bye.